Hey guys, hope this message finds you well. Set up. It's like I think I'm gonna do a reading for the first time in a while, actually, and see how it goes. Um, so I guess like this reading in particular, it's gonna be for anybody who's finding me that might need this message. Um, I kind of want to like add a little bit to something though, like because I find it's kind of necessary, like where we're at right now, um, with everything that's going on in the world. And, you know, certain things and the way we've approached them as human species um, has led us to where we're at. Like there, there can be many timelines, and oftentimes like some of those timelines, the parallels and whatnot, are fragments of us, like of different part of the journey, right? And so like as all of that has been kind of collapsing back together, and we're like approaching this like new earth and whatnot, like that, well, we're here so to speak, but like actually creating things in a way that we want to see, um like for our lives, right? I mean, how many of us really think like that? um I find like people keep getting caught up in, it's like the whole going with the way this is, oh, we have to get this vaccine or we're not going to be able to travel. We have to do this or we're not going to be able to this or that or this or that. Like, rather than, like feeding that, just recognize, well, give it maybe like another month, and it'll be recognized that, like we, as with human rights in this place, do have that choice. Yeah, there, and then recognize too as well, like there will be some things that, like will be hindered, but really, if it's hindered like that, then is that something that we particularly want to give our energy to in the first place? And it's like feeding that mentality, like recognizing where you have the choice and how to go about it, but also fueling more of your day, like feeding the greater vision, like what you want to see, and it's the little things that, like, I think we've disregarded in the past, and just kind of, that's why some things have kind of hit this point, is not taking back our personal power and being, not having like holding no fear, right? Trusting, like putting our faith exactly where it always should be, like some people might consider it blind or whatever, but I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, it's like our faith and our trust, and doing what we can do, making the choices that we can make, um, and doing them more so from the heart rather than the head, like, because when we get up there, things get loopy, things get confusing, we complicate everything so much more than it needs to be. Just 1 second. I'm recording right now. No, just keep it. Thank you. Can you close the door, please? So, yeah. There was something else I was gonna, I wanted to touch on, but. Oh, okay. Um, I guess, okay, bigger picture speaking, bigger picture knowing and trusting. When it comes to source, when it comes to God, like that stuff, our spirituality, like being in tune and connected to spirit, like however that works for you, okay? Um, it's the trust, the faith, and oftentimes, like with us, like life force, it's an innate knowing that regardless of whatever happens, true intention, nothing was ever meant to make us anything. Like to force, to make believe, like the just even that concept, right? Like if you look at it and you think about it, we've been telling our children this for how long, like, oh, make believe, make believe. Well, belief is half of our being, but it's clarifying that and recognizing it's the belief in ourselves and our faith and our trust in our God or gods or whoever, whatever we connect to spirit wise. And that in that trust and through that faith, regardless of what's happening, we're always protected and we don't have to be forced anything. And if something like that is happening in any way, it's also the faith and the trust that it's happening for whatever purpose, but it will always be taken care of. Karma is our greatest teacher, and that is the energy. Like karma is, it's energy that works through each of us. And like when there's unfair things that happen and stuff like that, like it's unfortunate the way sometimes it takes a while to catch up, but I've watched this time and time and time again with my friends or like people that I thought were my friends and stuff. And like those who wrong others, who like, just get through life taking and not giving back and stuff, they're always dealt with in one way or another. Like something will happen, and I try explaining to them, like, this is happening because of this and this. Like, look at how you were in this retrospect, and like stuff like that. And, like if you can't recognize that, then I guess in some way you would be a slave in one way or another if you can't recognize like the the way that lessons and like the growth process, how like if something bad keeps happening and you're not seeing like what it is that you do specifically, then you're a slave in, or like a victim, the victim mentality and whatnot. And it's like I got myself personally, in recognizing some of the shittier things that have happened, it's just like recognizing how I need to go about doing, like drawing my own lines and having more boundaries, recognizing how I can't help everyone, especially when it's like a detriment to myself or something that's like bringing added stress that I don't really need. Like, but I love being there for my people, right? Like everybody's like my people. I love like this human journey in life, right? But if it's like pulling me down to the point that I'm just like I can't do the things that I love and be able to take care like in all the right ways, like that work for myself, then it's not a good thing. And that's like my lesson therein, is learning when to say no, and like recognizing what I can and cannot do, because the world will go on. Everything will go on without us, right? But it's like, for ourselves, it's that's where that whole mentality, like, you gotta put yourself first, and doing it through that, from to serve the self rather than to be self-serving. So yeah, there's something else. Oh yeah, okay, I guess I pretty much just said that, like, um recognizing like the negative, and seeing, like, not disregarding it or trying to like fluff it up or whatever, it's like actually just accepting it and recognizing the role that we play in it, and what can we do, like what is it that we're meant to learn from it. um yeah, and that ultimately, like, is, it makes things simple. Like, everything is very simple, it's just not going to be easy. And that's like, even right now, like things that are happening in the world in the process, you look at like how we've gone about trying to like make things easy, right? Convenience and all that stuff. And in that process of trying to make things easy, we took everything that was simple and complicated the shit right out of it. And yeah, it can be pretty sad sometimes. I'm laughing because I'm just like laughing at myself. Um, I've always personally struggled with like asking for help, like even when I need it, or like asking for something, that's like owed to me or whatever. Like, and it's just, or like even, like feeling how I may feel. And I've always struggled like being vulnerable with people. Um, and I think a big reason for that is simply because of conditioning, like we, like as a society, and in this great conditioning, or the like, well, the shit conditioning, we have done that, where we think to show emotion is a sign of weakness, and like I have people, like friends and stuff, that come to me all the time in their like lowest moments, and I love being there, and that they trust and feel safe with me. And but when I get in those moments, I struggle to go anywhere, to like yeah, I've always been the strong one, so yeah. I guess it's like recognizing, like embracing more of, not just like the feminine energy, but just like helping the great reconditioning of like that recognition. And like, it does truly take a stronger person to show how they're really feeling, or to express that in the right way. But like, after all is said and done, like, just not feel no shame, you know okay, I'm gonna end up talking away and then not actually do this reading, so we're gonna do it. I'm hearing light workers oracle. So I haven't had this one out in a while, actually, so I'm excited. I'm just gonna clear it here. I just heard it's clear. We in the clear. So, the Lightworkers Oracle, very beautiful deck. Kind of was like my saving grace when I was going through some really hard times. I was guided to this deck. And so right now, you know, in the world, like, there's a lot going on. So, Spirit, can you give us something that we need to hear? There we go. Beautiful. I'm going to take that one too. Oh, yeah. I love it. All right, so that one was over there. So we got this one would be, yeah, okay. I think it's like this. So, can you see that okay? I'm trying to do this like slightly different, you know, so you guys, like, when I do readings and stuff, it's a lot more interactive. You can kind of see what's going on more. But the first card is the heart transmission, kind of, yeah, that like totally ties in a lot to like what I was just talking about, you know, like that's what we need right now. That's like so essential, is leading from the heart. Like, because when we get in our heads, we confuse everything. Like, our brains are like the computer, you know, like if you look at the way a computer works and the internet and all that stuff, it is a lot like the brain, okay? But you know, when we flow from the heart, that's what is essential to all life. It is from the heart, you know, and like it's very metaphoric, but it's also very literal too, you know, because without heart, without life force, without emotion, and the flow of that through us, everything would cease to exist. That's what I believe, though, but I don't expect, you know what I mean? Like, life force and feeling is so powerful. Like, that's the magic, you know? So yeah, the heart transmission is the first card. And I'm gonna read it from the book because they have such, well, I always add to it, but so it's 37, which is, that would break down to a 10, which is also comes into a 1. Like 10 is kind of, I look at 10, it's like, be like a wizard's number, you know, like in the ascension process, like, it's, you've completed the cycle and you're moving into this, like, this space of soul where like you are so strong in all of your, like, if you've integrated and like actually taken the lessons and translated them into wisdom, and you're applying that, you know, like in the ascension process, like you're going up and up, right? Like things get more challenging, things don't get easier, because the stronger we are, the more that we've integrated the wisdom, the more challenging the lessons are going to be, because, you know, it's like, why would we go back to kindergarten when we've already like graduated and did some college and stuff like that? And so they like think of the journey of life and soul ascension as similar when it comes to that stuff. So, and then, you know, like we could break that down to 1, right? Which is exactly, it all goes hand in hand. Like that is it's a leader's number. It's, and lead from the heart is perfect. But also too, like stepping back into our power and like recognizing how powerful we actually are here. My last video, I think it was, or the one just before that, like I did some big write-ups. So if you're interested, like I know there's this one of them I was talking about power and like what true power actually is. Like how here it's, like a lot of how people have thought power to be is mistaken, because like true power is recognizing that we do have some control, like we're not meant to be controlled, but like how like freedom is, it's a state of consciousness, it's a state of being. And even someone locked in a cage, they can still have freedom. It's, like it's an inside job kind of thing. But so the heart transmission. Your heart is capable not only of giving and receiving love, but of connecting you to a great network of beings that resonate in the highest frequencies of divine love. Through your heart, you can receive information and guidance from networks of light that fill our universe. As you learn to open your heart to receiving these transmissions, your ability to work with group consciousness in a loving way increases. You shall affect humanity in a loving way, influencing the collective rather than allowing the lower frequencies of the collective to overwhelm you. Working with group energy is a leap on the spiritual path, with risk but also great reward in terms of empowerment to manifest your life mission. The risk with group energy is mitigated when you approach it from the heart rather than the head. The mind can argue one point of view and then immediately and convincingly argue its opposite. The heart, however, either feels something, resonates, or it doesn't. Whether or not there is a logical explanation for it, the mind can be seduced by those who tell you they have great spiritual power, but this will instantly trigger intuitive warning bells in your heart. For those with genuine power, do not need to convince you of it. Absolutely. And yeah. So the heart is key to deciding where you offer your devotion. When you offer devotion to the group consciousness that loves you unconditionally, or just loves you, right? Because like with the true love, there's no conditions. It is. And that's like part of the lessons here is recognizing that like truly loving yourself is having boundaries. It's not letting people just walk all over you. It's recognizing like where we need to draw our personal lines and things that work for us, and to respect that from with each other, So like if somebody's uncomfortable, you're not vaccinated or whatever, then okay, that's the way it is. Like then don't spend time with me, or spend time in a different way, like on video chat or on the phone or whatever, like it, it, people don't need to force anything. And that's even like borderline concepts and stuff. Like this grid is changing as we know it, and if we're truly meant to be somewhere, then we will be there, and nothing can stop that. It's having faith and trust in that all-knowing, our greater consciousness. um Your heart feels safe, loved, and an inner knowing of the rightness of that group for you, whether the group exists on the earthly plane or in a spiritual dimension. Because like dimensions are really interesting, because it's like grids, it's energetic grids. And we vibrationally reach these points through shifts in our perspective and in growth, through the process of being human and then returning to eternal spirit and like everlasting life and like heaven here on earth and all that stuff. It's like right here, right now. That's there's keys everywhere, right? Like, but it all does boil down to perspective. Okay. Your heart will guide you to operate differently with different people. You may be guided to explore hobbies or interests that lead you to the next group that your presence can assist. The heart will also guide you when it is time to move on. The transmission of the heart gives a truthful assessment of the interaction of your frequency with the frequency of a group. It is mutually raised. Is it mutually raised? Then this is a spiritually constructive connection. Is it diminished? This will not be so helpful. The heart empowers you to know when to work with others, for how long, and in what way. Trust it. The more you do, the more groups which can bring great benefit to you and to the planet can enter into your world. So the invocation on behalf of all of us here now and all life, I say this on behalf of all of us. I have gratitude now for the heart transmission that guides me through universal love into the group consciousness that can best serve the greatest good of my own divine destiny. I ask for protection, insight, clear knowing, and clear feeling to guide me through the many groups that I will love and work with spiritually this lifetime. May all my group involvements be constructive. May love, light, and power increase in me and upon the earth through all group work, blessed by grace. May the loving ones help all group endeavors attain spiritual success through my own free will and divine love. So be it. Okay. That was the heart transmission. The next one is initiation by water, which is a 5. 2, 3, 5. And with 5s, okay, I feel like kind of weird because I feel like I should be looking with like even though I can't see you, I see you. Like, anyways, but 5s have been interpreted to be like a challenge, and oftentimes like the like conflicting kind of challenge and going to be really hard. I've always seen 5s personally more as like it's the core of the matter. And so I guess therein would be the challenge, like it's getting to the heart, getting to the central meeting place of any conflict resolution or whatever that may need to take place. Like when you embrace the challenge and you actually you get through it and it works, then implement, right? Like, and you've actually dealt with something at the heart of the matter. So the center, yeah, it's like it's what the center is where everything, cool. Something's clicking in. I love it. Click, click, click. Okay, so without the balance at the center, right? Then everything around or outside of it wouldn't be able to sustain the way it does externally. I'm thinking of yoga right now and having that strong core and and flowing from that, and then like it can be, or like your core, regardless of whatever activity you may be doing, um the core, like the center, really helps things balance outside of itself. And then it's all the little points outside, that also feed into the core. I hope this is making sense. um and then the whole, like as within, so without kind of thing. Like everything is genuinely like working together as a whole network. The balance is essential in all directions, right? And so initiation by water, it's like water also too, it's fluidity, it's like the so essential to life. And you look at like the waterways of the world, the way they're like the way blood flows through our veins, and everything connected, flowing back into itself pretty much, right? But like with water, look at everything we associate with water. It's also like cleansing and healing, and it's symbolic of like emotion. And so that's huge, like with what's going on right now. Like you look at all the flooding and stuff like that that's happening. It's like Gaia, it's a great purge, it's a great cleansing that we're experiencing right now. And in allowing emotion to move through ourselves as individuals, we help the whole, and also in recognizing that like each of us is like, we could be like a cell that's like essential to, because if we don't do our job, then it's not going to ripple out to impact the whole, right? So like when we think for the self and work for the self, we recognize how each of our individual actions contribute to the whole. And it could be so small, but it's so important. And that is like one way too of taking our power back, is recognizing that. And then I realize I'm going a long time because, yeah, you know me. Hope you make it to the end of the video. Then the next one is initiation by air. And I love the way, like, okay, so this all started like the heart transmission, right? And then we got initiation by water, but like look at that beam of light coming from his heart. And same here. Initiation by air. Now this, the initiation by air, like air, another essential, like all the elements, like what we truly need to exist in this life form is the air, the water, the earth, like fire, all that, all those like essential elements. That is life. That's what gives us our life force, and so not the money. It's like the 5 elements, right? What's the 5th one? No, it's actually the first, people. It's the first one. If anybody knows it. If you don't, then that's your homework. Go watch the 5th element. It's freaking awesome. So initiation by air, and that is a 6, which is perfect. So we go like 1 or 10, balance at the core, the center, and then the flow. But also like with 6, it's the number, it's like a harmonization. So that is beautiful stepping stone right there. That just shows me, we're doing good. And also with the air, like maybe even just something simple, when we take that deep breath and not disregarding the little things that actually contribute to what gives us life. You know, like the tree that got cut down. Like, come on, guys. Like, these are other life forms that contribute to life. And if we're not respecting and recognizing and we coexisting with other life, you know, it all goes together. And there's been so much upset in the balancing here of this planet, which is all life. Okay. Um, but you look at the shit that we've done, you know, and like, what do we got to do to change it? Like, you're not just gonna sail along having life, you know, like, look at how many people are like actually dying because of this life force, this planet purging because fucking she's had enough, you know? And like, we can work with her or be, we're not ignorant, you know, like it's like respecting somebody's home when you go, when they invite you in. If you can't do that, then you're not going to be allowed in. And good luck, like with the next place and the next place. You know, if you keep with the same patterns, we have to make the necessary changes to respect life and our home, this planet and the new earth that is coming through. Okay. I'm gonna go, but I hope that I gave you something different or refreshed. I just hope you got something good. I loved your company. I will see you guys soon.